And so when they say like, oh, like I don't trust paid marketing to help me grow my gym because my experience was this horrific experience that I tried to replicate from another agency that was pushing the same play over and over again. Okay, guys, like I get that that's how they used paid advertising, but that's not the only way to use paid advertising. Like there's a reason Meta is one of the largest companies in the world, and most of it comes from advertising revenue. So
you're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
All right, guys, here we go. This is Gym Marketing Made Simple. Sherman here with Blake and Tommy again, guys. This is going to be part two of growing your gym in 2026 because, of course, here at Lasso, we want to see you grow your gym to wherever you want it to go. But in this episode particularly, guys, we're going to talk about the data, right? And I know data is a word that's thrown around and it can be manipulated and all of that, but we're going to give you guys some numbers and really dive into it so that you guys can know what to expect when you are growing your gym, when you're running paid social, when you're not running paid social, what that looks like. So the first thing, Blake, let's jump into sort of the gym averages from our data, from data that has been put out as well. Let's talk about what the average gym does. And let's be clear, there's a difference between the average, a mean, a median, because again, those numbers can be manipulated. So, but Blake, let's just jump into it.
Yeah. So we went through like the last 6 months of signups through Lasso and why people came to us. And the main reason people signed up with us is because, I mean, they were just feeling frustrated because their gym wasn't growing. But looking at the average signups, it was around 4 signups per month, just doing organic, right? Now, if we could say average sign up is 4, now where do you kind of like you hit your ceiling per se in growth? So let's say 5% churn. And the reason I'm saying 5, we know 3 is the gold standard, but that's like probably in the role of like you got no competition. Because like if you do have competition, people are trying new things. They're like eventually going to leave and try something else. So let's say 5%. So if you hit 100 members and 5%, just to sake of argument, easy numbers, that's 5 people leaving and 4 people signing up. You've already reached your ceiling at 100 clients, right? No matter what you really do, you're not going to break through those ceilings. And you have only 3 things to do. You get better sales. So if you're closing at 60, 70, 80% of show to close, not lead to close, show to close of 80%, 70 to 80%, you're probably a pretty good salesperson. If your churn's 5%, you've proven that your churn, and I would say, and you guys could disagree with me, but I believe churn is a very equal to your service, quality of service in your coaching, right? Like you're able to keep people around, therefore they like what they see the value in it, right? And value is the main reason why people are going to spend money or cancel. If they don't see the value, they're going to cancel their service. So that's a very true tell. So if those 2 are true, the only if and lever to pull is getting more leads, getting more people on top of funnel, right? Does your conversion rate go down when you do paid marketing? Yes, 100%. Because Susie brought in her best friend and she's probably one of the 4. Referrals, all that kind of stuff, right? So if you're listening to this, you're like, wow, yeah, I'm getting like 4 to 5 signups. Wow, I'm peaked out between 100 to 150 at max. Maybe you have 3% churn. And I'm closing at this rate. I'm a pretty good closer. And you're in mentor groups and circles that they're telling you, no, you just need to fix your coaching. No, you don't need to do paid marketing. You're not at that stage. You will continue for the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months until you actually just honestly realize this is not working and I'm actually wasting money on the thing I'm doing now rather than generating leads. You're going to be stuck where you are. I'm going to let Tommy go into, he's way better at numbers than me, but like what it looks like of like top of funnel, like how many leads do you actually need in the door? How many people like, and we would say leads, like gold standard, we could run through it. Leads to booking would be 50%. If you're running free trials, like 50% are going to show up, right? We recommend probably not doing a free trial, but like if we could get, if you book something, like for example, like I booked, and here's another example in the last podcast, I looked up 2 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu places for my son. I don't know a difference between them. I went strictly based off schedule, right? And I'm going to try them out. And the one got back to me way sooner. The other one just sent me an email. So I don't know the difference. I'm making a buying decision solely based on just what the ease of use for that. So, and then but I canceled the other free trial, right? So that's, people are just not going to show up. That's not a means of like, hey, your marketing's not working. So if you say, 50% show up, then you should close 70, 80%. So those are just kind of metrics to look at. And I think you have to know where the standard is before you make any decisions, because data is actually going to drive your business decisions, and it always should. Feelings should never buy it. Go ahead, Tom.
So just to give you guys some numbers, and then I'll compare it to some of the stuff I've heard recently. So like in my gym, I have an internal sales closer and I have an appointment setter that work pretty much full time for me. So like I've set up a system to where there is no quicker speed to lead unless I, an AI bot that moves slightly faster than my setter. And I have salespeople that handle the internal stuff for me. If I can close lead to close at 20%, I'm happy. And the only reason for that is because most of my leads are coming from cold traffic because I'm trying to grow 2 locations at one time. But if you're running a, let's call it no sweat intro, consultation, discovery call type of organization, that 20% number is a good just benchmark to aim for. To Blake's point, if you're running more of a free trial, Evan Lindsay at Metabolic has all the data on this. You're winning if you're somewhere between 13 and 15%. So like, it's just, you're not going to close as much, but now you can use that number to say, okay, look, where are we going? How fast do we want to get there? What does churn look like? How many leads do I need to get? Because I know if I'm running a stratified model with a no sweat intro, I'm going to probably close around 20 if I'm running paid traffic. If I'm running a free trial, it's going to be more between 13 and 15. And then you can start to back into like how much money you need to spend to hit the numbers you need to hit. But like, I'm getting, somewhere between 80 to 150 leads across 2 locations every single month in order to hit my numbers. What we've backed into with a lot of our clients where it's like, hey, we're just trying to grow 1 location. The sweet spot's going to be somewhere between like 50 and 65, 70-esque type leads, total leads for the month. Now, if we look at the State of the Union, most people, the median amount of leads that the average gym, or that the typical gym gets is 13, right? So, I recently saw something from the folks over at TubeBrain saying, hey, you don't have a lead problem, you have a lead nurture problem. And because the average gym gets 31 leads. The problem with that, though, is that number is being heavily skewed by gyms that are running paid ads, whereas the bulk of people aren't getting anywhere near 31 total leads. So like, we try to get gyms to 2x the amount of signups they get every single month. In order to do that, you need to be somewhere between 50 to 70 leads. No one's getting anywhere near that. And that's probably why you're frustrated about the lack of growth that you're having at somewhere between 115 to 140 total members in your organization. Now, if you're running like, like a free trial type of thing, like, yeah, like it's a volume-based model where you need to, like the reason why boutiques spend 3 to 5K is they need that many leads in order to hit their numbers. It's a lower value offering, and you're going to attract a whole wide of different people that are not looking to buy anything anytime soon. They're just looking for cheap. You got to sort through all of those leads in order to find the gyms that actually want to sign up. That's their business model, but they know that's their business model and they operate accordingly. It's not like they don't know the rules of the game. They 100% know the rules of the game, and that's how they operate. So whenever I hear like, oh, you don't have a lead problem, it's like, yes, you do. Most gyms do. And then if I hear, oh yeah, like your lead need is only, 3x what your churn is because you're going to close at 50% lead to close. I'm like, I've never seen any numbers that come where close to that. And that's coming from somebody who has an entire sales staff running paid advertising, not bring a friend weeks, but referral incentive programs. I'm doing my organic. I'm doing, paid marketing. I have business partnerships. I'm doing all these things, my channels for marketing, and my goal is 20%. So the reason why this is important, if someone's saying you only need like 3x your churn because you're going to close at 50 and that's what's going to allow you to grow, if that's not true, 50% lead to conversion is not true, that entire advice, the entire model that's built on, no longer is relevant, because people are going to see that and be like, well, if I don't close at 50%, then I probably need 2x as many leads as they're telling me in order to close at 20 to 25%, right? That's where this matters. So that's why, like, not to say we get defensive, but like, that's where like we want to step in and just offer a different view of reality for gym owners, because when I hear things that are, I've never seen that done before in a gym consistently over time, it's like, to me, is like, okay, well, if you accept that advice, I know you're going to go sideways or probably down for the next 12 months. Most gym owners can't afford to do that nowadays. So it's like, step in, I'll show you the metrics of what the very best do in the industry. It's going to be somewhere between 13 and 20%. Use that math to back into how many leads you need to hit your numbers. And then we can back into how much your ad budget needs to be, or your marketing budget needs to be, just based on cost per lead. And now, to Blake's point, we have predictable growth inside your business. So, did I miss anything, you guys? Anything you wanted me to touch on?
No, I don't think so. I believe that was important to sort of, dive into those numbers, because again, when you hear some of these numbers, when someone just says them and like we talked about this right before we got on the podcast, Tommy, if you talk about the numbers and you say them confidently, well, people just automatically assume that it's true. Like, oh yeah, like they said it. But then when you really break the data down and dive into the numbers, you realize, yes, that is true. But when you really look at the data, it's not the picture that they painted, right? So for us, we just want affiliates to know that, like, for a lot of advice that's out there, it is not going to get you past the 20-ish, $25,000 per month revenue, right? Like, you're going to be sort of stuck there. You may jump up to 30, 35, right? Those would be the outliers, the gyms that absolutely crush it, sort of following that cookie cutter model. And when I say cookie cutter, that's not a knock on anyone. It's just everyone does the same thing, regardless. You have to follow the path. So that's what I mean by cookie cutter. Not that it's not great, but so I like that, because I know, just because of all the calls we've been on over the years, there are so many gyms that want to grow to a new level, but they're sort of stuck in a box and they don't want to step outside of that box, just because of what they're hearing on a semi-consistent basis is, hey, like, don't look over there. Don't worry about that. Just continue to do this harder, right? Like, just continue to play this game a little bit longer, when that's just not the case. Because, for us, I mean, I wouldn't care if someone comes to us and they go from 25K to 100K and we feel like we can't help them. It's like, hey, listen, man, like, we've done all we can. Go on and try to find you someone else that can get you from 100K to 200K, per month. But that just doesn't seem to be the model that's out there for most other companies,
Well, and outside of, like, look, the reality is from startup to about 15K, you need cookie cutter advice, guys. It's the same problems across all businesses. Like, it's okay to have cookie cutter advice in the early stages, because, like, it's the fundamentals, right? I'll let Blake speak to this, but, like, the other side of this is, when you talk to people who have been in the fitness industry for a while and have owned gyms, they're still burned on the way that it was presented back in the Hormozy days of 2016, 2017, of, like, it's still in a lot of people's minds, it's bait and switch, it's free stuff, it's like the 6-week challenge. Like, I still hear a lot of that stuff. And so when they say like, oh, like I don't trust paid marketing to help me grow my gym because my experience was this horrific experience that I tried to replicate from another agency that was pushing the same play over and over again. Okay, guys, like I get that that's how they used paid advertising, but that's not the only way to use paid advertising. Like there's a reason Meta is one of the largest companies in the world, and most of it comes from advertising revenue. So are we all saying that all the business owners or the majority of the business owners in the world are idiots and they're being fooled as to like the way to grow their business? Are we accepting that, or is there more to understanding why they're using paid ads as a tool? How does that apply to my business, and is that the best fit for me right now? Right, that's the way I try to explain it to my clients.
Yeah, and I think granted, like the old 6-week challenge is free, and then you say it's $500 when they come in. Obviously, that's not very moral and wrong on much different levels. And I'm not saying that Alex Hormozi is not a genius by any means. He's a very, very, very smart individual. I think what he did at the time worked. He found something and scaled it as fast as he can and made an exit out of it, right? But I think the other reason that gym owners don't like paid ads is because, trying to be polite, I'll just say it, they feel like a unique unicorn butterfly and nobody's like them, right? And the ads don't portray exactly everything they do in their gym. But the truth is, if you talk about everything you do in your gym, nobody listens and nobody cares. You need to talk about why people join your gym and what they're looking for. If you keep talking about why you care about your gym is not the reason why your clients care about your gym. And sometimes you got to let go of that, and you got to realize that like people know what they're doing better than me, and you need to stop talking about your sauna and your recovery room and all that stuff. Unless you're just the premier gym that has all these things. Other than that, like you need to talk about why you get results and how you get people results, because that's the only reason they join the gym. It's like I told a gym owner the other day, nobody's thinking about paying you $200 to make more friends. Like, why? That makes zero sense. Stop talking about your community. You're talking about accountability. You're not talking about a community. They stay once they join because they realize they like people there. And well, it doesn't even matter if they like people. If they're not getting results, they're still going to quit because the value doesn't meet their expectations. So a lot of gym owners just don't like paid ads because it doesn't talk about everything they do, which the truth is you should not talk about everything you do because people get lost and confused. You're giving them too much, and they say it's, you're burning too many mental calories. If you make me burn mental calories trying to figure out what you do and why I should buy your service, I'm never going to buy it, right? So you have to be very clear on what you do and how you do it. And here's the truth. Sometimes it might seem so simplified and dummied down, but that's what people need, right? Like if I looked at two different, let's go back to the example of like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for my kid. Hey, two different ones. Your kid's going to learn how to grapple and, do all these things and exceed in his belts. I don't care about that. Your kid's going to learn self-defense, respect, self-control, and he's going to learn how to respect authority. I would have purchased from that one, right? They told me what my goal is. I don't care about the belts. Nobody really probably puts their kids in, martial arts to get the belts. They put them for different reasons. So you have to be clear on what you're displaying out to people so that they read it and be like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to purchase. You might have the best service and product, but you're not saying it clear and you're losing people. And I think that's the biggest thing to take away from this is like when you're doing paid marketing, your messaging has to be, they used to say what a caveman could understand it in like one sentence. If a caveman cannot repeat it back to you, and that's a good thing. If you can't repeat back your tagline or somebody can't repeat it back to you, you're not clear and it's confusing.
Yeah. So guys, we're going to end this one here because I think that we've given enough insight. So guys, as always, tell a friend to tune in, and we'll chat with you guys next time. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.